So I've blocked this painting with mid-tone color. I load in some black and I'm painting in acrylics today. So I've taken in some black on my tree and texture brush, and let's come right over there and start to drop on some textures. Tapping it very lightly. Reload the brush. Now I've added some water because this is acrylic, this is water based acrylics, so I'm adding some water. And same thing in the reflection. Okay, something out there. And let's come over here to this tree and start dropping in some more textures. Always reload the brush. This is somewhere in the mid ground. And reflect that in the water. Load in more paint and just getting that overall feel and look of a tree. You want it to be pretty dense over there, and over here too it will be very dense and dark. So just scrubbing it very gently. Even though I'm scrubbing it very gently. And same thing in the reflection. This is dry brush blending, you can say. So now I've taken in some sap green on my number 2 fan brush, and let's come right over here and start dropping in some textures. There I used black, here I'm using sap green and just a touch of black. Reload the brush. And what this is going to do is it will create zillions of effects. Let's come right over there. I've not added water over here. Go a millimeter over that river. Fair enough. And something over here too. Now I've taken in some lime yellow on my number 2 fan brush. Tighten that up so that it pops out. Just gonna go with some more of that. Add in some green to highlight. In fact, I've loaded in thick paint to paint this. Go into that. You can get that back anyhow. So now I'll take in some sap green and just a touch of lime yellow and just a touch of white. Set that palette aside, and I've taken my manipulated flat brush, and let's come right over there and start dropping in some of that. For this you have to ensure that the backdrop is completely dry, and something comes out right over there too, creating those mini bushes inside that bush. So now I've taken in some sap green directly without cleaning the brush. Let's go right over there and just drop in some of that. just here and there, not much, just here and there. Look at that. And something comes off right over here too. Still using that manipulated flat brush. Look at that, it's that easy. Skipping some spots. So now I just went into some white without cleaning the brush, so that same color comes into that white paint, and just dropping it right over there. There also I'm trying to create some details, don't have a lot of those. Brighten that color a bit by 25%. And let's come right over here and start dropping in some more of that. Follow that angles. Just added some lime alone to that pile of paint. And just using the manipulatedness of this brush. Now I'll go into some sap green without cleaning the brush and just drop in that right over there. Maybe that's in the shadow. By just softening that. I've taken a round brush and let's come right over there and start dropping in, and I've flattened it, so let's drop in some detailings of that reflection. Just like that, following that shapes, creating different angles. Look at that, it's that easy. But also have a reference of what is there above the water. Just lighten that color a bit. So far so good. Find something comes off right there too, making it very irregular. And something is gonna come off right over there too, in the water. So now I've taken in more of black, and let's come right over there and start dropping in some more of that, barely touching the surface, especially over there, because you want those crisp edges. And something comes off right over here too. That is the peak of that bush. Keep that measurements approximately doing it, that's okay. Look at that. See that connection between the blocking in part and the detailing part. So now I'll take my manipulated flat brush and let's come right over here and drop in some foliage and leaf action over here. Look at that. One of the easy methods to get foliage in the foreground, almost in the foreground, you know. Fair enough. Now I'll take my round brush and let's come right over there. Let me turn this. And let's come over here with a detailed round brush and drop in some highlights on this tree facing towards the light source. Make sure that each leaf touches another. Loading the paint at the very tip of the brush. The intention is to get the tip of the brush to touch the surface, making them very random, don't follow any patterns. Now I've taken in some sap green and black and whatever color was left out on the brush. I've now cleaned it. Neither have I wiped it. And let's come over here. Just drop in some more foliage in the mid-tone color and which are in the shadows. I'm gonna brighten that up a bit so that there's some connection between the blocking in part and the highlights and the details. Darken up that color and sort of drop in right over there. Change the flavor a bit, changing all sorts of stuff. Look at that, gives you that fine leafy texture. Something comes off right over there too. Skip some spots, don't want it to look flat, but by making use of one color and skipping the spots, we can make it look three-dimensional. Look at that, just like that. So now I've mixed up some soft lavender color. So let's come right over here and drop in some flowers, creating all sorts of shapes, variations, randomness. Skip some spots. And over here too, I'm ensuring that I'm loading more paint at the tip of the brush. Now I'll go back with my number 2 fan brush and drop in few grass action right over there. Skip some spots. Look at that. Maybe this is in a slope, so it's not gonna get too much of light. Grabbing some lime yellow and just drop it. Fair enough. So now let's go ahead and brighten up few petals of few flowers just a bit so that they stand out. This part will be the brightest of them all. Like that. Just one or two over there and some over here too, just so that it fits together. So now I'll take in some lime yellow and sap green, and let's come right over there and start dropping in some more of that detailings, crisp detailings. Brighten that color a bit by adding in some white. Look at that. And something comes off right over there too. Don't want to follow any patterns. Okay, something like that, and it's going to continue all the way up till there. And as I go towards the light source, they get a bit warmer. Look at that, that also separates this part from that. Just a bit of brightness at the peak of that tree. And something comes off right over here too. Create all sorts of variations. And just a bit over there. With this, I come to the end of this painting. I hope you've enjoyed it and thanks for watching.